All right, everyone, this is Hunter,
This is Brian.
and this is Owen. Owen is my little brother. He also works in tech, and we're bringing him on as our very first guest on the show. So, everyone, I hope you like the show today, and we're going to start off by talking about the elephant in the room, or rather the VR headset in the room that Brian is wearing. So, Brian, tell us about that headset there.
We're going to be talking about augmented reality and VR today, and I figured I'm going to give you all a little preview as to what everyone would look like wearing the Apple Vision Pro when it comes out.
Yeah. So really, our first topic is about the Apple Vision Pro. Owen has some opinions. Brian has some opinions, and I've got some opinions. So let's start off. We're going to talk first cons, criticisms. What are our negative thoughts about it, and then we're going to try and end on a positive note here and see.
There's nothing positive. It's not going to happen.
You gotta hold that mic up to your.
Sorry,
I gotta hold this closer.
This is going to get real grunge match in about 5 minutes.
Okay, let's do it. All right. It'll be longer than 5 minutes. Okay, so Brian.
I'm already sweaty, by the way.
Okay, cool. Brian, turn and look at me like you would.
Bro, you know what Brian kind of reminds me of right now?
What?
In Meet the Robinsons, when the hats take over and they're just making everyone like a zombie. It's like covers their eyes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's good stuff. Brian, what are your criticisms? Start.
You want me to start with criticism?
Yeah. Start.
I think the number one criticism is the price point. $3,500 for a headset that Apple is marketing like you're going to wear this around all the time. Is basically this headset all the time on your face for $3,500. And I don't see it. I don't see it as anything that is going to be a thing for people. Like, can you imagine walking around the mall? Can you imagine walking around the mall or the store or wherever you kids go these days to hang out, and some tool bag shows up with this on their face? And they're like, "Hey guys, what's going on?"
It's like at school when there's that one kid that just wears the huge bulky headphones everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're I can see you're listening to music, but why do you have to wear those always on your ears? You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
how I would look at it.
Yeah.
Personally. But I mean, I don't know. I agree. I don't see how. I'm especially opposed to the price personally. I just don't see how you could spend $3,500 on a device and have it be worth it to use. Unless you use it every day of your life for everything. I don't know how you use it, but it just seems like a ridiculous price, and I have to use it so much to even make it worth it to me. And I just don't feel like that's possible.
I think one of the more ridiculous things that is on Apple's website right now, if you go to the Apple Vision Pro, Apple Space, and you scroll down, there's some lady in a hotel room unpacking her luggage, and she gets a phone call or FaceTime, and she's now FaceTiming mom and dad, wearing the thing around in the hotel room while she's unpacking her luggage. I literally don't see any human being doing that for longer than one time because it's a novelty, and then it goes away. It's done. The novelty is done. This headset right here we bought, I don't know, several years ago. It's obviously older, but as soon as everybody was done playing the games that were popular at the time, Beat Saber and Zombie Training Simulator, whatever. As soon as people got bored of those, it never comes back out of the closet. It is not something that we use on a regular basis, and I cannot even remotely tell you how dumb it is that Apple is doing this, because I don't think it's going to take off. I don't even think a smaller version in 5 years is going to take off and be something that people wear, like what I'm wearing right now. I'm already sweaty. I can't even wear it anymore. I'm already sweaty on my face. How exactly is Apple going to compensate for the amount of just moisture that your face creates? I guarantee people are going to get zit rings around their faces and eyes because their face is just swamping in a mass all day.
Well, I think you're wrong, because the only people who can afford it are going to be billionaires, and if they don't have proper skincare,
So Apple's going to have a skincare product now? That's that's the big play? We're going to cause people a problem because we said it was cool, and then they're just going to have a balm you can rub on your face.
It's the next frontier. You create the problem and sell the cure.
And then sell the cure. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like books and books and books written on how bad of an idea that is.
So,
100%. I agree.
so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I actually agree.
Time
with-
out. Time out.
Okay.
Sorry, I got one more thing. And then this is how you control it.
That's like Tony Stark, though. That's the cool
No,
part.
it's not though. There's no way.
Oh, we do have an opposing opinion. We're good.
There's no way. Can you imagine just in public and somebody's like doing this kind of crap?
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever wear.
I also think there's a massive creeper factor that they have not worked out yet. Like the first guy I see at the pool on the out in the parking lot with one of these things on, like facing the pool, I guarantee you that guy is
That's actually
creeping it up
facts.
hard.
That's
So here's the deal. While I actually agree with most of these takes, I'm probably the most I wouldn't say pro, but open to the idea of the Apple Vision Pro. So I'm going to be the one providing the contrary takes here, the devil's advocate here. So I agree with that. There's a big creep factor that I don't think they've worked out yet, but I actually don't think that's it, because everyone's had phones. Anybody who's out at the pool taking a picture of their kid with their phone or whatever is also simultaneously taking a picture of 10 other people's kids in swimsuits. So that factor has been around for a while. The creep factor for me is that in the past, if you were doing something really shady on your computer or whatever in public, you've got to be covering up with one arm and doing this kind of deal. Or if you're in public and you're watching something sketchy on your phone, you gotta put it in your lap and cover it up and be looking at it like this, or get the privacy screen. Well, no longer is that a thing. If you're watching something sketchy in public,
nobody knows.
Yeah, you just sit there straight face and people walk past it. You're just
that's a bad image for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think that's going to be well received. The phone, it took a long time for the migration of the phone into now I'm taking pictures on such a regular basis, and also pictures of everything in the background. I think it took a really long time to get that way, and there's really if you're going to be doing that kind of stuff on your phone in public, there's a certain thing that you have to do, like you're saying, where you're going to have to do something to salvage your privacy or whatever, or for whatever you're doing. But this thing is just I can just stand there at the gate and just do the thing.
So
I don't what are they going to do? You're going to post signs, no Vision Pros near our area. And I'm not talking about just the pool. I'm talking about parks, public areas, the gym. Can you imagine some tool bag running on the treadmill with one of these things on?
yeah, but that's
I'm just watching shows.
how would you run with that on? There ain't no.
You don't. But all of those are still already a problem with phones. Gyms and phones are already a huge discussion. Especially recently, that's already become a huge thing. So that problem already exists. We're not creating something new there.
So
But I think you're elevating the ability.
yeah.
You're definitely elevating the ability of the general person that can afford this thing to have access to this.
True. But I mean, one of your other criticisms is that no one can afford it. So if no one can afford it, then it's not that big a deal.
Well, people will find a way to afford it,
Yeah,
and that's the other problem. Is it's an Apple product, and so people are going to find a way to afford this thing.
True. What are you going to say, Owen?
I was gonna say this is less I don't know if I could even really call this a criticism. This is just a personal. I don't know how I could walk out in public with a Vision Pro on. I have to have zero shame. You would just feel I would just feel so out of place and so sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning when I'm assuming that it's not going to be super normal to see that based on price and the fact, some of the other stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have similar concerns. But I would just feel super out of place and just very weird walking into a public area with one of these on. I think people are aware of some of the cons that we've just discussed, the creep factor. I feel like people would just look at you differently and you'd be less approachable in general. Imagine going up to order food with an Apple Vision Pro on, and I don't know. It just would
See, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want somebody to film me doing it and just film the reactions of people around. I think for the experiment of it, I like to see what social acceptance there is. Like I think this is like a huge topic of conversation because I do not see this as ever being a socially acceptable thing. Like, can you imagine go anywhere as a normal like 20, 30-year-old person, which is like maybe the people that could afford this, like people graduating college that get good tech jobs or somebody graduates with a law degree so they have the salary or ability to be able to get this thing, and then going to meet people, like doing the normal like dating process that happens these days, like any of that kind of stuff. I don't think this is ever going to be a socially acceptable situation to wander around with one of these things on your face.
I mean, I kind of disagree because I don't know, like I feel like there have been things that have been like socially not necessarily acceptable, and then they've kind of become more acceptable. But like my thought is like, so like the contrast, I guess, like in Japan, you know how it's like rude to talk on your phone on the train, you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
But like in places like the United States, like where we live, like that's not an issue at all. Like I feel like some people would eventually just get used to it and be like, whatever, see that every day of life. I think it eventually would if enough people did it. Maybe like not necessarily in some places, but I feel like it could eventually in some areas of the world be fairly normal to see that.
I don't know. I actually think that I'm actually going to say on Brian's side, I actually don't think it's going to be very socially acceptable, but I think this technology is going to move fast enough that by the time society has begun to start thinking about accepting people wandering around with their eyes covered and walking up to the thing, that like that will already be old news. Like my general take on this is that this item is actually not cool for what it is right now. It's cool for what it could be in a couple of years, and that's the reason why it's $3,500. Like that's the reason why decent VR headsets have been really expensive, and why like the Meta Quest has been exciting for people is because like for $300 or $400 you can get a decent VR headset that does like most of the stuff that you need, right? Like nobody wanted to go out and buy a $1,500 headset a couple of years ago, right? That was like, okay, it's way too much. It's the early adopter fee, basically, is what I'm saying. Like this is pretty new technology, and we'll get to that in just a second because there's like more to say about that. But like this is $3,500 for a new thing. But like I want you to imagine like 5 years from now, like you said, you don't think it'll even take off then. But I want you to imagine wearing something that's like not much more annoying than wearing glasses. And like,
Do you think we're 5 years away from that?
So here's my thought about this. I realize this is not necessarily the same thing. It's kind of like the opposite end of the spectrum. But you think about Elon Musk with like Neuralink, if that ever became a thing.
yeah, no, that's like next step. Actually.
Yeah, like make it like augmenting things enough where it's like just integrated into your
Brain.
into your body and into your brain. I think that's far away from being commonplace. Like we're not living in Cyberpunk 2077 right now.
No.
But like Elon Musk and his Neuralink, I don't know how far away that is, but that's some real cyberpunk type vibe going on.
Yeah, I honestly see that this being kind of like the in-between step between like phones and that kind of thing. Like, and I know that I may be oversimplifying that, so like, I take that with a grain of salt, but I see this as being the next step, and this is the beginning of that. And here's my argument. So everyone in the comments I know anybody who is like remotely anti the Apple Vision Pro or Apple or whatever is already shouting, but all these other companies have made VR headsets and they do this and they do this and they do this and they do this. I know, I understand, I get it, but that's not how this works. Like we've seen this 100 times. Like Fitbit had smartwatches that did activity stuff before the Apple Watch came out. And like there were phones like the BlackBerry that had like the larger screen and the full keyboard and were the whole smart deal and whatever. Like Japan had smartphones that were connected to the internet for years before the iPhone was a thing. Like there's
I didn't know that actually.
yeah. I'm oversimplifying it for the sake of the video here, and I'm not even an expert here, but like you can say, well, someone did this, someone did this, someone did this, someone did this before this happened. But until it comes into the ecosystem that everyone's comfortable with, that everyone's familiar with, and you can just get it and it just works, it's like it didn't happen yet. They were all just experiments in this technology, right? Like Apple is building off of the ideas of all these other things, right? So like you can say, well, the Meta Quest is way cheaper and it does 90% of the stuff or whatever. And the Meta Quest Pro, which by the way, Meta has already canceled. Like they already gave up. Yeah, they did. They saw the Vision Pro announcement and they pooped themselves and decided to drop out of the market early. But like until Apple has done it, I hate to say it, but until Apple has done it, it hasn't been done yet. Like that's just the way that it is. And like all those rich kids and all the rich people that have the cash for it are gonna get it. If it's good, which has yet to be seen, like it will take off. Like there will be people that buy it to a certain extent, right? And here's my, actually, let's keep talking about criticisms first, and then we'll get to
more criticisms.
Yeah, we'll get to like my arguments possibly for. So the next thing we have is about who is this for? Like who is buying this? Is that is self-evident. It's people who happen to have $3,500 and like Apple, right? Or the people who just like being the early adopters, right? But who is it for? Like who is this actually going to help in their daily life or in their job or whatever? What do you guys think?
I personally don't think that it will necessarily help anyone. I don't think there's anything that they're building into this thing that you could not do with some other platform or some other piece of equipment. And then like my other thing is like let's say you're gearing it more towards an accessibility scenario where you're doing it for somebody with some kind of disability or whatever, like there's still challenges there. Who wants to be plugged in? Like, is that really a thing? Like, who wants to be plugged in all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never take this thing off and can't function in their life without it?
Well, that's like saying, again, this is like a bit of a devil's advocate here, but like someone with hearing aids, like if it really improved their life that much, where like before they couldn't do something and now they can, like hearing.
Yeah, but even people with hearing aids take them out at night and like,
I don't know.
or change the battery, or turn the volume down when they don't want to hear people talking to them.
That's true.
Starts yelling at them. Like,
Right? Like there's even those scenarios that like this doesn't help that.
True, but like the hearing aid helps for the times that it does, and you take it off when you don't want it to. And this was the same thing.
I was gonna say I'm totally with you, but like I can see it for people who like, in the example of like people with hearing aids, that greatly increases functionality and things they can do in their life. But I don't see how the Vision Pro could do that for anyone yet.
Yeah, I don't see there being any benefit to it. It's just cool. It's just cool tech.
Yeah,
It's Apple cool. And like I'm gonna preface this because we're probably gonna comment. I'm an Apple person. I have a Mac. I've lived in the Apple ecosystem since the first iPhones. I've never migrated into Android, although I've used it before, and I just don't. I bought into the ecosystem of Apple years ago, and I'm not. I don't think I'm ever gonna leave. But well, sure. But this particular situation, like spending this kind of money on this thing, that I get my email and surf the web on and listen to some music. It's like those. I already have things that do this
that are way more convenient.
And there's a ton of other Apple products that I've never figured out how to integrate into my life, like an iPad. That is not the way that I don't think that's the way most people prefer to do things, unless that's the only technology they have.
Yeah, I would have to find, like, I'd have to go through more research, like what they're doing again with the Vision Pro, but again, just like the asking price is just so high. Like I don't know how you could, for that much money, you could buy a crappy car. Well, not right now necessarily. Like, you used to be able to buy a crappy car for less money than that, and it, like Brian was saying, you can do all the same stuff that you do just on your phone. And so, what's the point of spending an extra $3.5 grand to just do that still?
Yeah. So I don't know how to answer that question because I can't place in my mind because the marketing material is not showing any other options. They want the person who's just got off the airplane and they're going to their hotel to unload their suitcase and be on their business trip, answering phone calls at 8 o'clock at night, doing telemeetings or whatever in the VR functionality of this thing. And I don't see that as a functional thing.
Well, it's like even if you were like getting off an airplane on like a meeting, Zoom meeting or whatever, like your camera's going to be turned off. You could just dial in anyway and listen to what they're saying. So
Right.
it's gonna have-
Like a basic headset that sits in your ear
exactly. Like,
works in this scenario just fine.
So, yeah, I agree. So,
like I'm actually a little curious now. I want to know what your what
Yeah,
you
well,
think could possibly
Hit us with some pros on this.
Yeah, I
'cause
can't
honestly,
think
like,
of
I
it.
don't.
I'm gonna hit you with my thoughts here. So, and again, I'm cautiously optimistic on all of this. I'm not saying that all of these will be like definitely. Sorry, I'm gonna move this a little bit. Definitely what this is used for, or like the best use case for it, or anything. I'm just gonna hit you with a couple like counter arguments to like see what you think. So first off, the price is high, right? Let's just get that out of the way right now. The price is super high. And a lot of people are going to say, well, that kills it. There's no reason to spend that much money. But Owen is a car guy. Oh, I don't. You probably don't know because he has never said that. But Owen's a car guy, right? So Owen, why did you spend more on your Evo than you had on your other car when you could have gotten like a used Corolla that gets better gas mileage and costs way less? Like, why did you get a car that costs more?
because it's cool, and it's fast. That was the main thing. It's fast. I
Yeah.
like fast stuff.
So here's the thing. This is my thought on the price. I spent some time in Wyoming once, and it was like talking to people and like being rest in peace, yeah. And I was in a pretty small town that was not super like affluent or anything like that. And so I met a whole bunch of people and I went to a whole bunch of people's houses and saw stuff. And I went to like the trailer parks, like the really grungy trailer parks in this town in Wyoming. And I would walk in and you would expect everything to be cheap and poor because like it's a fallen apart trailer on the outside in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. Like, why would these people have nice things? And you walk in, and they've got a brand new 75-inch TV on the wall, a nice, like, oven, fridge, stove, like, got all these nice things inside. It's like, why do you live in kind of this dingy place, but you've got all this expensive, nice stuff? And that was where I learned one of the most valuable life lessons ever, is that people have money for what they want to have money for, right? And so if someone has a priority, like you will have money for that thing, right? So if it's a MacBook, I could make the same exact argument about MacBooks. Like sure. you can get a $200 Chromebook that will do 80% of what your MacBook will do. But not that many people go and buy the Chromebooks. Like people go out and buy the $3,000 MacBook, right? Because like people have money for what they want to have money for, and Apple makes people want to have money for that thing. Right. So yeah, the price is high.
So I'm gonna disagree with you on that. Like,
Bring it up.
The Vision Pro will not do 80% of what my MacBook does.
It will totally do it.
It will totally not do 80%. It won't run. I would say 80%, 90% of the applications
Fair.
that I
Okay.
use.
I see
in
what
my
you're
professional life.
I see what you're saying.
Like you're talking about, somebody would have to custom build apps for this thing to be able to do any of the stuff that I do.
Which is
People
not
will
that
totally do
far.
You're not. I'm not saying.
It's-
I'm not saying it's that far off. I'm saying even on release day, it's not a replacement for a MacBook.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't think anybody ever expected something.
It's
on
not even a
release
quality
day.
augment to a MacBook.
I would disagree with that.
How so?
It's not a quality augment to a Mac.
No.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into my use cases. Okay.
I'm
So
excited to hear these. 'cause
Okay.
I can't think of any.
okay, so and I know that some people are going to disagree with this one, so I understand.
Which
And-
is the point.
Yeah, and by the way,
Go ahead and disagree.
anybody please disagree in the comments with anything that any of us say, because we're just like talking crap. Like we're just saying what we think. Like none of us are experts in this. I'm not an Apple engineer. I'm not like a CNET reporter that's tried every freaking VR headset ever. So we're just talking out of our butts here. But you don't think it's even an augment to a Mac?
No.
In the marketing materials, they explicitly show someone using their Mac. You open your Mac, it automatically knows that that is your Mac, you're opening your Mac, and it will pull up anything that you have on your Mac on a virtual screen in there. So if you have your Mac, let's take it back to that business person on vacation. If you want to have a competent work setup, like a real work setup like you've got at home, Brian has a Samsung G9, Odyssey G9, like monitor. Okay, that's just like background. It's like big, widescreen, ultra wide monitor, right? If you want to have a competent work setup on a trip or on the go or some kind of something like that, especially if you have some like big or large monitor like that, you're screwed. There's no option. Like you get the crappy.
But you're assuming that the Vision Pro is going to be able to like simulate an ultra widescreen monitor inside the headset.
I'm not necessarily saying that explicitly, but if you want to have like, let's talk about this. When people go on a trip right now and they want to have other screens, there's basically 3 options, right? You do what my friend does. He has a travel TV that's like a 35-inch small TV that he just throws in his suitcase and carries with him.
I would love to meet whoever this is.
I'll tell you about it later. I'll shout him out in person and tell him to go watch this.
Okay.
You do what a normal human being does, and you get a small, like, fold-up extra monitor with the cables and the cords and the power supply, or you have a big old power bank or whatever, or you go the ultra. I've got strong opinions on this product, but we're not going to talk about them right now. But I've seen a couple people at work buy this. It's the crappy Chinese thing that clamps onto the side of your laptop, and then the screens fold around, and then you fold out 3 screens, right?
I have never seen that even once. I've
Yeah,
It's a thing.
it's a thing.
There is no way that. Okay.
Yeah, and I understand the idea of it. So if you have that and you're like, I love this thing, Hunter's so stupid for insulting it, I understand it, I get it, but you have to have 3 outlets or 2 outlets at least, or if you've just got the one, then you've got to like, I'm sorry, I've got opinions on it. It's dumb, it's huge, it's bulky, the screens are poor quality.
What it sounds like is I have this friend that likes to bring his Xbox everywhere, and he has a special carrying case with like a fold up. There's like a screen inside or something.
Yeah.
There's like a whole battery
Situation,
thing.
yeah.
That's what it
Yeah,
sounds like.
yeah. If it works for you, I'm happy. I like having 3 screens, and I will never purchase that product. So
Does he know that you can play Xbox on a PC now? And just take a laptop with you?
but then what was the point of buying the Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but anyways, so
Carry on.
carry on. So if you want a competent work setup while you're on vacation, you have to go for one of those 3
I don't want to work set up when I'm on vacation.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay. But there are tons of people that want to get work done while they're on vacation. I
they're
know it.
psychotic.
I know it. And it's beside even vacation. At this point with remote work, it's not even vacation anymore. You're just going somewhere and doing work while you're there. I know this for
I
a
understand
fact
that. I understand that.
because I like allow
Deal with it every day.
Deal with it every day. Right?
I'm with you.
But if you want to have a competent setup to do your work off of just your MacBook, you're talking like either a huge, bulky, crappy Chinese thing that you clamp onto your thing, a full fold-up monitor that has to have its own power supply and own whatever, or you just pony up and just grab your 35-inch cheap TV from Best Buy and throw it in your suitcase, right? And all of those are bad. All of those are bad. But if you're already taking a headset for whatever reason, or even if you're not already taking it and it can fold up and fit in a case this size, that's smaller than the triple monitor garbage thing that you clamp on your computer. That's smaller than the foldable laptop. It's maybe not thinner, but it's a smaller footprint. And it's way smaller than just taking an entire TV, right?
Yeah.
And you get as many screens as you want.
Who said
Wherever.
that? Who said as many screens as you want?
Okay, Apple probably has a limit on it, but you can have at least 3, if not more. They showed that in the marketing material.
I mean,
If the marketing material is to be 100% believed, that is.
That's true. That's true.
I think currently all the marketing that you're seeing for the Vision Pro is things that they hope to have done by the time it releases.
I agree, but
There's other products out on the market right now that are basically the same situation, but they cannot deliver all of the things that even their website says they can in a beta form.
Yeah, that's true. But the Meta Quest Pro can do 3 screens off of your MacBook. If the Meta Quest Pro can do it, then I 100% guarantee that Apple can do 3 screens.
And then you're looking at 3 static screens on you got to experience this. I have. I have a brother-in-law that has an X-Reel. Like it's a great product. It's a cool product, but the static screen inside the AR process, and then either looking through the screen or looking like at a screen, and then whatever you can see beyond that screen becomes like a garbage experience.
I understand what you're saying, but at this point, I don't believe that Apple released something that is so garbage that
I'm not even saying that's garbage. I'm saying that the functionality of it is not something that you can integrate in your day-to-day life.
I bet you could.
I bet you can't.
So
Your brother-in-law has.
He uses it for games and he watches movies on it.
So?
Like that's his primary function, and it works great for the things that he wanted it for.
So why couldn't you do work on it?
But the stuff that's advertised on the thing is dysfunctional. Multi screens, you get 33 hertz per screen.
Yeah, but that's on the crappy X-Reel thing, not on the Apple
How
first
do you
party.
think they've fixed that problem?
well, I hope $3,500.
I bet you $3,500 hasn't fixed that problem.
I bet you it has.
I bet you the resolution and the refresh rate of each screen gets chopped every time you do another screen.
No, I guarantee it doesn't.
Find the tech material that
It
tells me
uses-
that's a thing.
It uses foveated rendering. Wherever you're looking, it's going to render more, and the other ones, it drops the render of it. So if you're looking at one screen, it ups the frame rate and the resolution and the whatever, and then you look over the other thing, and it renders that one better.
Then I have some curiosities as to what that's going to do to people's vision.
It is just fine. It's already on the PSVR 2. I've watched reviews of it. It works just fine.
I don't even think that product's been out long enough to tell what it's going to do to
The
people's vision.
PSVR 2, you don't think it's been out long enough?
Okay, I'm gonna interject a thought here because I've been trying to rack my brain for any sort of like.
Something to say?
Yeah. Well, no, like just something good about the Vision Pro. So I realize this is a very trivial, it's more of a joke, but I guess it could apply. Imagine you're a psycho and you're trying to get some work done at lunch. Okay.
Okay.
And,
Fair enough.
And you're eating.
And then I'm sitting in the food
Pause,
court at the
pause.
stupid
No,
mall
pause.
with the headset on
Yes,
and just
yes.
doing this in the air.
Yes, no, that's what I'm saying. If you go
Okay.
on your laptop and you're like eating your Chick-fil-A, you gotta wipe your hands off or like wipe your hand on your pants or whatever every time you want to touch the keyboard. But then with this, you could have the dirtiest fingers you want and you're typing virtually. That's gotta count for something.
I'm not going to count.
First of all, the virtual keyboard. Come on.
I'm not on.
There's no way that's
you
going to
kidding
be
me?
like.
No,
There's
Dang
no
it,
way
man.
you're going to be able to type even 40 words a minute on a
No,
virtual
no,
keyboard
I'll-
like that in the air.
I'll never be on board with a virtual keyboard.
You're gonna have to lock your hands in place like this and not move them at all for it to track
It's-
all 10 of your fingers.
It's got to have some
touching different
genius
stuff.
predictive AI and watch
Yeah,
my
for
fingers
real.
to get that good.
Dang, I was trying to come up with something.
No,
good,
no,
But
Blown.
no,
Dang
really,
it.
really. Oh, and by the way, the PSVR has been out for 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. That is not enough time to see what it does to your vision after extended
Oh,
use.
you mean like I see.
Yeah, your eyesight. Your actual eyesight.
Okay.
Not your through cameras in screens that are 2 centimeters from your eye hole.
I see what you mean there, but VR has been out for long enough that that's not a concern. Just doing foveated rendering isn't changing how it affects your eyesight. Like
Also-
if regular VR headsets aren't screwing up your eyesight, then this isn't going to.
But I mean, to Brian's point, I mean, like once people started, like once we moved into the more digital age and everyone was staring at a computer screen all day long, a lot of people had to switch to using like blue light glasses because.
That's a myth. That's fake.
Are you kidding?
I'm one of
I
those
bet
who-
you there's my eyesight got worse.
That's because you got older. Dingus. When you age 20 years, your eyesight goes down the drain.
Is that actually?
Yeah, blue. I'm googling it right now.
I don't.
On the fly research.
Man.
American Academy of Ophthalmology.
Woo. Coming straight from the big.
Blue light can keep you from falling asleep, so it can make you less sleepy, according to this.
I better get some.
You
blue
get
light
more
glasses.
blue light exposure from the sun than from your screens.
Okay.
So if your grandparents standing out in the field or whatever didn't.
And they all got skin cancer. What are
Okay.
you talking about?
Okay, so are you just gonna not look at any screens and just avoid getting all cancers of all kinds? You'll never step outside and never look at any screens?
I think just like everything else, like limiting your uses of it, but Apple's gearing this thing for
Okay.
wear it all the time.
So that's actually where my one thing diverges here, like really diverges. And we could disagree on this, but I don't think it's going to be productive because I think it's just like a matter of like what's going to happen. I strongly disagree with the marketing materials being that you'll wear it everywhere. Like I know that that's how they're pitching it, but I truly think that like next to no one will actually use it that way until it is a smaller, more convenient, more compact package. Like
Even then, like just in the few minutes I was wearing my VR at the beginning of the thing, I'm sweaty and like I don't want to wear it anymore.
well, that's
And-
because we're
and-
running off of one portable AC unit.
Hey,
in a-
listen, it's not that hot in here, guys. Like the few times that I've used the X-Reel, like that would be the one use case that I might be able to like agree to spend $500 on and buy them is if I wanted to privately watch a movie while lounging on my couch in the afternoon, and then you're talking about a 3-hour adventure, like watching whatever Marvel movie I wanted to watch at the time, and then I take them off and put them away.
Mhm.
Like this is not something that you're going to be wearing around all the time.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. That
Then why are they marketing it that way?
you've got to hype up
Like
your-
they like the keynote had at least 10 minutes worth of this strap is so comfortable to wear, and we've padded the eye holes and look at
Well-
all this. We created a whole new fabric that's stretchy and it's so nice.
That's very Apple. No, I agree. It being comfortable to wear.
You're
is
still
not a-
gonna sweat.
Yeah, it being comfortable is not a point against it. To me, it was just them like, this is the one, kid, this is the moment that for me was like, I very much was like, this is stupid. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Is when the dad was taking pictures of his kid's birthday, and it was like the 3D pictures.
So bad.
Like, that is truly terrible. Like, can you imagine your like 4-year-old being like, Daddy, why are you wearing
that on my
bug eyes? Yeah. Like that is awful. But everything that is ever marketed has to be marketed to its like maximum extent. Like the marketing material wouldn't be cool if they showed some ugly tech guy who graduated from MIT working for freaking Apple sitting in his office.
I'm
doing
aware.
this.
Like I am not the face of the tech.
Yeah.
Even though like I know more about networking and firewalls than most other human beings.
Yeah. Well,
Like you can't put me in front of the thing and be like, "Hey, we're doing this new
Yeah.
cool thing because this guy."
yeah.
No,
But like,
I get that.
Of course, the marketing materials have to go hard and show all of this stuff, right? I bet we could look at the marketing materials for like just about anything. Like, let's talk about like GoPros. Like, the marketing material for GoPro is people jumping out of airplanes with 4 cameras strapped.
Well,
to
that's
them.
skiing or
The
snowboarding
difference is
or
they
whatever.
actually do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 99% of the people that have a GoPro are using it to film their crappy first YouTube video or do a time lapse out of their backyard, not jumping out of airplanes.
I
Or they
disagree.
put it on,
I
or they
disagree.
put it on your helmet when they go off of the tiny little jump that you have in your front yard that you and your friends built. Like the vast majority of GoPro users
that's
are
still-
not Red Bull athletes.
But that's still more believable than taking a 3D picture of your kid's birthday party.
True.
Or the guy, the same video. Maybe it was the dad in the kitchen and the kid kicks a soccer ball over
Yeah,
to him, and he like does this nice touch and kicks it back to the kid, all while looking through the dumb glasses.
Yeah.
Come on.
No,
It's like you're experiencing your life. That's like right there, in right here.
Yeah.
No, it's like that piece of this marketing is truly incredibly dystopian, and that I disagree strongly with.
Okay.
So I don't think that that's what it's going to be used for.
I actually did just think of a potential good thing, and this is actually a real thing. So I used to have a VR headset for a brief period of time. I do some like sim racing stuff when I'm bored sometimes, and I have a little steering wheel and pedal set.
We're all gamers here.
Yeah. So y'all know. But
Yeah, you said that like you had to justify that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Like, who are you justifying your
It's
spare
the
time?
no, it's the racing.
It's the-
Sometimes I play games when I'm
no.
bored.
No, I'm just saying, like.
It's the racing setup. The racing people spend crazy amounts on
Yeah,
it.
What's wrong with that?
My setup is not good. But I wanted to try the VR thing, and I had a couple $100 to go spend on the whatever. I can't even
Quest? I think it was the Quest,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Quest. And so I got it, set it up, and I was a little disappointed in how it worked out, basically, because the resolution was not. I realized I bought like a cheaper one, and they're like a better one, but like it was a little bit nauseating. Like, and that might just be me, but like the resolution was not as good as I was expecting. And I realize it's a lot to render when you're doing stuff in VR, but like, man, it was like, I was like, this is just not gonna work. So I ended up returning it because it just didn't end up being as good of an experience as I was hoping. So maybe that could be one if you could set it up for like some sim racing or other stuff like that. If you're like a hardcore gamer or whatever you want to say with that kind of thing, and it like could have some amazing rendering process or something like that. I could see that maybe being one, but still $3,500. Like, I just can't get over the price. I know we keep going back to it, but it's just
So
so much.
So let's talk specs real quick, and again, with an understanding that everyone in the comments is going to be like, the Meta Quest Pro did this first. Again, it doesn't matter. We understand, I know, but their marketing material states more than 4K per eye, I think in that exact wording, essentially. So instead of it being like whatever, I don't know what the Meta Quest 2 was, but it's relatively high resolution per eye, right? They have not said FOV, nor have they said frame rate specifically, I don't believe. So we're not going to talk about those things. But the processor in it is the M1 they talked about, which is the same processor that will come in, like, it's now the last year's Max, but like the last year's Max. So it's a pretty powerful processor.
Yeah.
Or is it the M2? I think it is the M2, not the M1. So either way, it's a fairly beefy processor. It's a laptop grade processor. Anyways, I get it. Brian and I have actually talked about this before. Hey, 40 minutes, not too bad. So Brian and I have talked about this before. The reason that VR has not taken off yet, even though there have been so many headsets, is because none of them have really been good at multifunction. Like, okay, so they're good for games, right? But let me put it this way. If your phone didn't text people very well, like it was kind of unreliable or whatever, and didn't get email and whatever, and all it did was play Clash of Clans, your phone, like smartphones would not have taken off.
Oh, are you kidding me? They would have. Clash of Clans
Is the best game of it.
best game of all time. I'm just kidding.
But that to me is the reason why VR AR headsets have not taken off yet, is because they are marketed as an accessory to gaming and not as their own standalone thing. And that is where this sets itself apart, is that it is marketing itself as its own standalone thing with its own use cases outside of gaming. They mentioned that gaming will be a thing, but it is going to be its own thing outside of gaming. And to me, that makes a huge difference. Because if you market yourself as a peripheral for something that is already happening, you will never gain ridiculously broad adoption, right? Okay, like a keyboard, everyone needs a keyboard, everyone needs a mouse, but like we're not reinventing that necessarily here.
But then, a gaming keyboard's like an accessory for like gaming, and obviously not everyone. Is
not everyone buys a
a
gaming
mechanical keyboard. Right?
Yeah, that's a good metaphor. Thanks for backing me up on that one, Owen.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I kind of see where you're coming
Yeah.
from. with that.
But like let me pitch an actual use case, like a for real actual use case that I can see someone doing. And I know this is niche right now, but you have to start off with the early adopters, right? That's how everything works. That's how everything works. So I want you to imagine you're that guy who graduated, guy or gal, human being that graduated from MIT, and they go off to work at Apple. Let's just say Apple is a generic example, right? And you've got some disposable income. You live in, Palo Alto, and you're making big money from working at Apple as some kind of developer on something, right? So you've got $3,500. That's a drop in the bucket. You're not worried about $3,500. So your workflow before was, I sit at my desk that I have in my one fixed place with my Mac, I've got my docking station and my screen, or maybe just my laptop, because a lot of people are maniacs and don't like using secondary screens with Macs. I will never understand you people, but more power to you. Now, instead of needing a desk, you no longer need that. You can literally set your Mac on your lap, go to the park. I mean, I realize this is limited by battery life, and we're not even going to talk about the battery life of this thing because
we might have to mention
it's
that.
garbage. It's garbage. It's so bad.
I feel like we should address it at some point
Yeah.
at the end of this video.
Yeah, it's bad. But let's say that you find a place. Like we'll talk like an office. Like let's say that we're talking an office building. You can sit at your cube. You can do your thing in your cube or in your office. Okay. Well, now I want to go sit in the kitchen for a little while and eat some food or get some work done casually on the side. Or I want to go sit in the conference room with the nice view. I want to go sit in the wherever. I want to go sit at a coffee shop and actually get some work done. People talk about doing that, but in reality, the coffee shop work experience is you sitting cramped on this tiny little desk and you don't even have room for your freaking coffee on your table or whatever, right? So like it's a fantasy, but nobody can actually really get serious work done at a coffee shop unless you're a writer and you're just typing on a Microsoft Word doc on your laptop, right? Like if you need 2 or 3 screens,
There's still no space for the coffee.
still no space for the coffee, right? But now you can go. There's still not going to be space for the coffee, but now you can go sit in the coffee shop, plug into the outlet on the wall next to you, and you've got your screens. You've got 3 or 4 screens. Like I'm going off of amount shown in marketing material here. Okay.
And you just look like a psycho.
And it's for the low price of looking like an alien man sitting in the coffee shop, right? But in a conference room, right? You take your laptop, you set it down. I want to sit in the conference room and have some peace and quiet instead of being in the drone of everybody talking in their cubes around me. Now you can do that. If you want to work on a plane, and again, I don't know why you would want to do this, but I know that there are people that do this. You're that same MIT grad human with the $3,500 disposable income. Maybe you travel a lot, so you got the Delta Premium Wi-Fi or whatever. You sit on the plane, you open your MacBook, the plane now has plugins. Like you can now plug in on planes and get actual constant power for the most part. And you can straight up get actual work done sitting in a plane. One of their demos was watching a movie on the plane, completely blacked out. And of course, I think they also talk about using like your headphones or whatever to get some sense, like
Noise canceling.
noise canceling. So now you're sitting on a plane, noise canceling, completely dark all around you, full immersion, feeling like you're looking at a theater-sized screen on an airplane.
That is definitely a lot. I can see that one. I can see that one a little bit. So part of the reason I can see like if you were working at your desk or whatever, and you don't want to be around the noise in the office. Remaining nameless, I do have a coworker who is quite loud on the phone, and we have an open floor plan. So it's like someone yelling in your ear. And sometimes like I need to be on a phone call, and I'm like I cannot. I need all of my screens here, and I can't move my entire setup.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. When I've sat in my cubicle for the last, 3 years straight, just at the exact same place, exact same screens, I get the hankering to get up and move somewhere new and get a change of scenery a little bit and still be able to get work done. But I'm not going to unmount my freaking triple monitor setup from my cubicle and move it around. Like, that's just not reasonable,
And
right?
I can see on the airplane as well. But even then, it's hard to get comfortable on an airplane either way. If
True.
you're like me at all,
True.
It does not matter what I do. Like if I could be engrossed in a movie or playing a game with my Steam Deck, and I still it feels so uncomfortable sitting in every airplane seat ever.
It's true. But I think for those people,
Am I wrong, Ryan?
but even right now, for those people, I think that's a valid use case.
Imagine being on an airplane sitting next to this.
I mean,
Well, people
With
on airplanes.
fake eyes across the front.
People on airplanes are kind of degenerate anyway, as we've all seen in the recent.
Like this is me sitting on an airplane.
that actually doesn't bother me. They're doing their own thing. I don't mess with people sitting next to me or their stuff. They pull out a magazine. They pull out an enormous book. Heck, they could pull out a crochet set and like set it up on their table. I don't care. That's your space. This is my space.
So what if they're watching a comedy? They do this.
Well, I mean, they do that on the screen.
Yeah.
Come on. It's stupid.
I I'm kind of with Hunter on this one on the airplane, but even then, that's like
Dude,
a very niche.
It's a
use
niche
case,
thing,
and
but-
you pointed that out.
but like think about
I
it.
would not mind sitting next to someone with a VR headset on an airplane, like
Yeah.
they're doing their own thing.
Doing
I'm
their
over
thing.
here watching Fortnite content on YouTube or whatever. Like, we can't judge each other by what we're doing.
Yeah, man. Like, and here's again the price. Like, for something that makes someone's experience better, especially in like that kind of scenario, people who knew nothing about headphones, like people who are complete non-audiophiles, like they jam to 80s music. I'm specifically referencing my own father here. my dad is also quite thrifty, and so an investment into anything like expensive or nice is a huge stretch for my dad usually, right? But like he's a big traveler, like for work, so he has sat on
He
planes.
wouldn't even buy noise canceling headphones because they were like.
No, he did. He bought.
Eventually, after traveling for 15
Yeah,
years.
yeah, but my father, like my father, who's quite thrifty, ponied up the $400 or whatever for Bose headphones to sit on the plane, because he was on the plane and he wanted some audio, like some noise canceling.
So time out. So pause.
Paused.
I have this thing in my brain for things that I don't personally think I would use every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're big, like luxury items. And just bear with me, follow me around.
Following you.
I have talked about buying a boat at some point in my life, multiple times.
Mhm.
Just listen. I've talked about buying a boat. Boats are very expensive. Water ski boats are even more expensive. And good water ski boats are even more expensive.
Mhm.
Okay? But I can rent a water ski boat for $450 a day.
Yeah.
Go do a thing at the lake, have a lot of fun, make a bunch of memories, do the deal.
Hunter and I have actually talked about that before.
So what you're talking, like the scenario that you're talking about would be really great if Delta bought 100 of these things and put them on all their planes and let people rent them for $50 and watch movies on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I said before, like the use case that functions the best for the X-Reel, which is like the closest thing to what we're talking about at this point
Right.
in time. Those use cases, the thing's amazing. It honestly, like I can see myself like watching a movie or you know, even just working on a static screen, like with those things on, I can see myself doing it and it functions really well. But I don't need to spend that kind of money to do it, particularly if somebody provides me a way where I can use it in the one or two scenarios where I think I would,
Right.
like watching a movie on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Like and there's a ton of stuff that falls into that same category. People that buy expensive things like boats, then you're forced to you're forcing yourself to utilize the thing that you spent a bunch of money on, which means you're not doing something else in your life. And I think my problem with the Vision Pro is the thing that you wouldn't be doing in your life is experiencing your life for real. I think that's the thing, because it's not just buy the boat and then go to the lake every weekend. Now you're talking about buying this expensive piece of hardware that now you're going to force yourself to use it around all the time, and now you're going to essentially miss the live version of what you're doing in your world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that becomes my bigger problem with it is if you're sitting down to play video games for a couple of hours on a VR headset or even a whole weekend, or you're going to work on it. So I'm going to wear it while I'm working, and I'm going to put it off, and I'm going to like do it the next day or whatever. At least you're outside of that time frame, experiencing the rest of your life in the full 3D that your eyes can see anyway. That's great, but Apple's almost marketing it like they want you to just experience life from inside their glasses.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't agree with it. I just don't agree with that.
Well, and so that's the place where you and I agree, because I again think that is like incredibly dystopian. In fact, I want you to imagine like a dystopian movie or novel or whatever. Like think Blade Runner, right? And then imagine Blade Runner, but instead of everyone walking around and you seeing their eyes and people walking around and doing stuff,
Wearing a headset.
yeah, wearing a headset instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. I'm just saying that I truly do not believe that that is what it actually will be used for, or even it being a valid use case for it at this point, right? Like, I honestly, wearing that outside of your house while you are walking, going anywhere, doing anything other than like working or doing something, especially right now in its current form, is not a thing. Like my use cases for if I was to buy, like, and again, I'm actually not a Mac person. I do have an iPhone and an Apple Watch, so I am an Apple person halfway, but I'm not a Mac person. I'm a Windows person. But if I had a Mac, my use case for this right now would be my work. Like when I am at work for the 8 or 9 hours, 10 hours, or whatever that I'm at work for the day, it would be used for that, right? I'm at a place where I can plug in all the time. There's outlets everywhere all around me, but it allows me to go and sit anywhere. I can go and sit in the kitchen. I can go sit in a conference room. I can go out, do any of those things, right? And it gives me some freedom of like, I'm not tied to this one place that has my monitors, right? In fact, that's my ultimate vision for work. Like remote work will not truly be remote work until you can just wear a pair of glasses, have some kind of like, headphone in or something, and have like some kind of gloves or something with some tactile feedback where you can feel like you're actually typing. Like remote work will not truly be remote work until we reach like that level of this, because remote just means whatever desk you happen to be at the time, right? Be that your house, be that your office, be that a coffee shop.
But now you're talking about like somebody like, let's say I'm gonna take this thing on vacation, I'm gonna work. Now I'm like at the beach, like sitting on a lawn, like a sunbathing or whatever. I got this thing on my face and I'm working like in this beautiful environment that I should be experiencing like real time out in the, and now I got this thing attached to my face. And so I agree with you that like this isn't that, but even then like now you're gonna augment yourself with some sort of other tech that you just switch on and off all the time. And now I'm in the same boat. I'm still not experiencing what I'm doing right now. I'm worrying about my emails and my work crap that I have to take care of.
I mean, that's already a work-life balance problem.
I understand that, but we're migrating further and further away from like
in the old days, you were at the office and you
Yeah.
had the computer, and you didn't even have one at your house or
Right.
whatever, and so you had to come home.
Right.
I get that.
We're migrating further and further away. I tend to work all the time,
Right.
unless I'm doing something specific with like a family member or something like that. I'll sit down and even play games, and I'll log into my other machine and do work at the same time at night after hours or whatever. Like we're migrating into like this solidarity process where if I'm watching a movie on the couch wearing the Vision Pro, my wife can't even come watch the movie with me unless I'm going to pay $7,000.
Yeah, for another one?
And only if there's a way to put both of them on the same thing to watch the same movie at the same time.
Knowing Apple, they're probably
Like you now can't walk into the space with someone else that you care about and experience what they're experiencing because we're soloing it.
jacked into the main.
Yeah, because I'm hardwired into the mainframe and nobody can get me out of it.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that, but
Like phones are already doing that.
Yeah.
Like I see my kids and younger people, they're literally on their phones doing something on their phones, face up to the thing, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Give an iPad kid vibes.
yeah.
People, yeah, right.
No,
That's like the ultimate iPad kid.
I 100% agree with that take. 100%. I just believe that that is something that you have to set for yourself no matter what the technology is that you're using. Because like for some people it's not their phone. Like they just sit at their laptop all day long. Like the 10 hours or whatever that you've allotted to like work from 8 to 6 or whatever come and go, and they're still on their laptops, right? So that's not a technology problem. That's a you limit yourself and cut yourself off. Because I'm doing the same thing. I installed Teams on my own personal computer, so I'm playing games. If someone in another country needs help like outside of office hours or whatever, like I'll get that while I'm sitting there playing, and so I'll see it. Like I get it, I understand. But when it comes down to the fundamentals of it, the question is, would I rather get my work done at the golf course and be able to actually work, like seriously work, not just like pull out my phone, have the crappy interface of Outlook on my phone, like actually be able to see everything in full whatever, and then swipe it away and go back to golfing, or would I prefer to sit at a cubicle? And the answer is I would prefer to be.
And at this point, you're gonna wear the headset to get that experience.
No, I wouldn't.
But that's what's offered right now.
But what I think he's saying is like in the future.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But so we're
Right
so,
now, it's just not a
Yeah.
so
reality.
we're not even marketing the reality of what's available now. We're marketing something that's currently a pipe dream.
Well, you're marketing what you could do now but should not do, and in the
Yeah.
future,
Yeah, but
actually,
back to your point. Like this is an Apple product, and so people will start doing it.
true. If it works, people will buy it. I don't know if people will do that with it.
Whatever. I promise. You're gonna be out in public and see someone
I will.
with one of these things on, checking crap off of their shopping
I'll,
list.
I'm gonna point and laugh at them, and they won't be able to see me.
Yeah,
Right?
they'll be so far in the mainframe that they're just
Yeah.
totally disconnected.
Yeah. No. So I like.
So I want one. I want one. I
too.
want to get
Yeah.
one. I want to walk around and go grocery shopping.
Okay, I want it
And
for
I
different
want people to
reasons.
film it. And we're putting it on the channel.
Okay.
I want to do this.
Hey everyone, Get
we
us-
need subscribers.
yeah,
so we can
get us some
afford this.
subscribers, and we will film Brian wandering around the grocery store looking like an idiot.
And the
100%.
caption's gonna be like, "Idiot with Vision Pro doesn't live in
As a
reality."
matter of fact, the title of this video needs to be Brian Needs a Vision Pro.
Yeah, okay. Brian needs a Vision Pro. Well, can we both get a Vision Pro?
If we have the money,
Okay. Well, how about if
we're
we
gonna
don't?
go grocery shopping together.
Yeah. If we don't, then you
And
use
Owen's
it for a
gonna
while.
film it.
Yeah.
yeah.
If we don't have the
Listen,
money, then
you-
we'll get you one, and I'll.
You
borrow
can
it.
have it, dude. I'll just
Okay.
be the dummy wandering around.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll
Okay.
go to the shopping centers and we'll go to the whatever's left of the malls.
Mhm.
Whatever's left.
We're gonna go eat at the food court.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat with the thing on.
You know. Okay. here's-
I'm gonna order food at that place that I like downtown. I'm gonna order food there. I'm gonna go sit and I'm gonna munch on my food with the thing on.
And they're gonna call your name, and you're not gonna hear it because you're gonna be so engrossed.
Immersed
I'll be
in
so
their
immersed.
audio.
I'll be so immersed.
Or the waitress will walk over and you'll look up politely at her and your eyeballs will slowly appear. On
Yeah,
the screen.
yeah.
Oh, holy crap! We haven't even talked about the funniest, worst part of this. Your eyeballs appearing on the
fake
screen.
eyeballs.
It would be bad.
I briefly mentioned it.
It would
Whoa,
be
I
bad
didn't-
enough.
I didn't realize that was a feature. They're gonna
Yeah.
display
What?
your eyeballs. I
What?
didn't.
Owen has not looked at the marketing materials.
I haven't looked at all of it. I got through about like 5 minutes or whatever, and then I was like, "This is stupid."
Hold on. There you go, Owen. Right there. Do you see? You see her eyeballs appearing on the screen?
Oh my hell!
It's supposed to be like more friendly.
Yeah,
But
but no, that's not the. That's.
I honestly
I want the lizard eyes or like the cat
Want to
eyes.
be Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
Sure.
I honestly truly believe that feature is 100%, 90% a marketing ploy. Like that is the thing that like people
Look,
see.
you won't look so weird. She'll show what your
Yeah,
eyes look like.
It'll be just like interacting with another human being.
Uh-huh.
Perfectly the
Just
same.
like it.
Yeah, uh-huh.
That is.
Yeah,
It's
but
too much for me.
yeah, a little too much. So yeah, that feature I also think is completely stupid. Like until it's a pair of glasses that I'm just looking through or whatever, it's you could just forget about the eyeballs from me.
Like
I'll
let's
turn that off.
so let's touch on that for a minute because like you brought up the Tony Stark situation. I think we're 15 years plus away from that scenario.
That's unfortunate. 'cause
Like
I've always wanted
like
to feel cool.
like battery life alone. We are nowhere near. We're nowhere near the ability to run a full computer in glasses like this. We're nowhere near it.
That's a good point. I think that there's definitely things to be said about that, but battery life, especially with electric cars becoming a thing, is like
that people are pushing for that.
people are pushing for it really hard.
Yeah,
And
but those are huge batteries.
well,
That
that
the
doesn't
technology.
that doesn't matter. Like like just barely. Like I've been watching updates on this and trying to keep track of like who's researching what. Everybody is looking for better batteries and better ways to like make this like electric cars and stuff like that better. Like even just it was just a month or two ago, Toyota announced that they were like, and again, this may just be like marketing hype, so bear with it. But people have been trying to develop solid state batteries which are expected to double or triple the actual battery life in the same
Yeah,
amount
but
of size.
doubling and tripling the battery life versus making them microscopic so you can fit them in a pair of glasses is
Well-
two different things.
Well, I think I don't
Like
know.
you gotta get to the double, triple the battery life thing first, and then you can shrink them down. And even then, you're still not gonna like. We're still
It's like the
vastly removed from being able to shrink them to fit in a pair of glasses.
It's like that whole energy density thing, right? It's like I think you and I have talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you could get it to where, like, if they get it to be like 2 or 3 times, they could shrink it and then be able to power.
Yeah.
It's about like the energy density.
And
It's
also-
like-
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, and also the
I still
efficiency.
think we're way far away. from
I'm
that.
with you. I think it's.
I think we're far away from it, but I think you could just like extend your imagination just a little bit. Like imagine it being a relatively normal pair of glasses, not as thin and as flexible and light as you've got right now. Maybe a little bit more. There's a little bit more horsepower. But people for quite a while, and some people still do this every single day, wear a collar for Bluetooth headsets. Like especially people who work in like manufacturing kind of shops. Like imagine having a collar that just has enough battery life in it to power the thing for
For how many hours? What's the battery life on the Vision Pro?
Oh, currently it's like 1 or 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
1 or 2 hours.
Yeah, and they've got a little battery pack. that
Yeah,
you
this
tuck
is
in
what I'm.
your pocket.
This is what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you got the headset cable to a battery pack that's the size of my phone. I'm not even in the frame anymore. Size of my phone, and now you're talking about shrinking it down into this right here, or to like even slightly larger.
I-
It's still.
You're still so far away from any of that.
I think we're a little ways away, but I still think you're not giving enough credit to it. Like
I will be 60 before Tony Stark's glasses are a reality.
Okay, I think that by the time it's that, like literally no bigger than a pair of glasses on your head, you may be right. You may be 60. But I 100% would be willing to wear something that is slightly bulkier than that and a collar around my neck.
You realize that means that you'll be nearly 50 by that time.
I don't know how old you are, Brian.
We talked about how old Brian is. Are you 43?
43.
I pulled that number straight out of thin air. Like I can't believe
Wow.
that came to me.
It's like nearly 20 years. I think we're 20 years away from Tony Stark's glasses.
I
I don't know about 20 years.
I disagree. I think we're a solid 6 years away from something like I'm describing with like kind of thickish glasses and some kind of a collar, and I think we're maybe 10 to 12 away from Tony Stark glasses.
All right, think of it this way. Like currently right now, you would basically have to take all the tech that's in your phone and shrink it down to something wearable on your face. So that means everything that's in your phone right now has to shrink by 75%.
Completely untrue.
100% true.
The battery takes up the large part. Have you ever seen the main board for an iPhone?
I have. Take the battery out of it.
Yeah.
Take the whole battery out of it, and now I'm wearing a hot battery around my neck.
The cameras take up about this much space in
Yeah.
an iPhone. The main board is literally about the size of a stick of gum.
I understand
small
that.
stick of gum.
So that's still 75%. You're gonna have to reduce
Yeah,
that
all you-
75%.
Yeah, all you have to do is split what is going on.
And then
on that
this
board.
phone doesn't even have all the capabilities that the Vision Pro is going to have.
True, yes, but in 6 years, I give it that time. Like literally, if you take that main board,
I will argue this all day long.
If you take that main board and you chop it in half and you put each half in the frames of a glass.
So now
glasses.
the frames of your glasses are going to be
Yeah.
a half an inch thick.
Yeah.
Double this.
Yeah. Have you seen? Like, there are people who are already making these. Like
I think we mentioned this before, like the
the Google
I realize
Glass.
Google Glass is very far removed from what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but
but-
that was an attempt at least.
Yeah, Ray-Bans has already made a thing in collaboration with like Instagram or Facebook or something that is like a pair of glasses that it's got battery life, like it's got battery. It'll take a picture of your thing. It doesn't show it on your thing, on your glass. Like they don't have the vision part of that down.
Right.
But like it's got battery life. You can take a video with it and just run it, and then it Bluetooths to your phone. So they've got all of the stuff for the video processing. They've got the battery. They've got the everything, and they don't even have a collar for the battery. Like they jammed the battery into a relatively normal looking
And you
set
get
of glasses.
20 minutes worth of video.
Probably about that much. I don't
15,
remember.
10?
I don't remember the exact battery life.
Or 10 minutes of video, people. Are you ready for this?
But like,
The point is, it's
Slamming.
moving in that direction.
Yeah, if
and
the X-
people actually like.
yeah, if the X Reel, can do what it does with its size, imagine Apple dumping Apple money.
But you have
into
to
that
plug
for
the X Reel
6
into
years.
something else
So,
to get it
I
to
don't-
show you anything.
I don't like again. I don't care about wearing some kind of collar or something like that. And Apple, we've already said, like most of the what you fit in an iPhone could pretty easily fit in a pair of glasses if you finagled it. Like it would be thick. Like it would be thick. It would be a big pair of glasses. But like if I could have my iPhone in a pair of glasses with a collar right now, I bet you that give Apple's engineers 2 years, 3 years, and they could do that.
So why aren't we marketing that as a first level, not the Vision Pro?
Well,
Like why did we skip 7
you
socially acceptable
You-
scenarios?
Hunter,
You
part
wish
of
me,
Apple.
yeah, you wish me to look into the mind of Tim Apple and Craig Federighi and the gang and
Yeah.
figure out. I have no idea.
Work that out.
I have no idea. That wasn't a compromise they wanted to make right now. But
That's a compromise that they should have made.
I kind of agree. But
Okay, we've talked about a Vision Pro for a while.
yeah. Well, I mean, we've got plenty of other topics on this, but let's talk. We're gonna take a brief pause here. I'm just gonna stop. This is where I'm gonna cut this. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching our rant about the Apple Vision Pro and VR, AR in general.
Remember, Brian needs a Vision Pro.
Yeah, remember we collectively need one Vision Pro.
Make it happen.
So that
Brian
we
needs
can
a
make
Vision
the
Pro.
stupidest video of all time with me sitting here with my fake eyeballs on the screen and Brian talking to me and see how pissed off Brian is by the end of the video.
Please, can we do this?
Yeah. Anyways, so thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.